Hey guys, Patrick McKenna here, and I want to personally thank you for purchasing my Herbal Apothecary Nature's Medicine Cabinet course. Whether you're just getting started in herbs and tinctures or you've been around for a while and you want to know a little bit more, I hope this provides value for you. I think you'll get a great experience out of this. I have a lot of resources in here to get you to being a pro at doing your own herbal tinctures. So, the title of this course, Herbal Apothecary, Nature's Medicine Cabinet, and it truly is. It has been my passion for a long time to get people off of prescription drugs and things that have harmful side effects. You have to understand that sunlight is healing, the air is healing, nature is healing, grounding yourself, getting out in nature. These things come from nature. Okay, these were designed to help you heal. There are so many different herbs and so many different combinations of these things that can attack a lot of ailments and have you feeling better immediately. So, what you're going to learn is how to make safe, effective tinctures at home. So, let's go ahead and dive in. So, why tinctures? Well, concentrated herbal extracts equal maximum potency. Okay, so an herb by itself is great, but you want to extract the maximum healing potential from the herb. Now, the great thing is that these tinctures have a long shelf life, years compared to teas or supplements or powders or things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I like good supplement, I like a good tea, but these are very easy to take, okay, and they last a long time. So how would you take a tincture? Well, you can put drops under the tongue. You can stir them up in your water, your tea, your coffee, smoothie, whatever. They're very versatile. And you can customize them for your family's needs. You got an older member of the family that might need a different ratio. Great. You've got kids, you've got yourself. You just have to adjust the ratios, and herbal tinctures can work for any member of the family. So, how do these tinctures work? So, they're made by extracting the herbs in alcohol, glycerin, or vinegar. So, those are the three bases, or the three most common bases that you can utilize to extract the herb's maximum efficiency. So, what those bases do is they pull out the plant's active compounds. Okay, so you're going to combine these herbs in these bases in certain ratios and have them activate the herb's maximum efficacy. The thing about a tincture is the rapid absorption into the bloodstream. So, as opposed to taking a pill or something like that, that's going to take a little while to get into your system, these are so rapid because they're just liquid and they go immediately into your bloodstream. And so, for that fact, they're more convenient than teas or capsules or things like that, as I've said before. So, what are the tools and ingredients needed to get going? This is what's so great about this, is because it's so easy. So, your base liquids, 80 to 100 proof vodka, unflavored. Now, I would recommend at least 80 proof to get maximum efficiency. Okay. So, vegetable glycerin is your alternate choice. But of course, if you have children, you would make the tinctures with the glycerin and the apple cider vinegar. It kind of goes a little along the ways of common sense, but I just wanted to bring that up. But yes, 80 to 100 proof vodka, if you're going to use alcohol, clear, unflavored, is your best bet. Vegetable glycerin, apple cider vinegar. Okay. So herbs, fresh or dried, it really doesn't matter, but I would recommend organic because, and of course I'll give you some recommendations of where to buy these organic, because they get sprayed with so many bad chemicals Organic, you're going to be a lot better. If you grow your own, you know that they're not going to have anything harmful on them. But organic is the way to go if you want less chemicals in your herbs, and I highly recommend going with that. Now, for your tools, amber dropper bottles, amber mason jars. So, now why amber? Well, amber is dark colored glass. You don't want it in plastic because microplastics will leach in there, and it also causes the tinctures to taste differently. Believe me, I have bought some essential oils that have been in plastic bottles. They're terrible because it just absorbs the plastic scent, and those microplastics are really bad for your overall health anyway. So not only glass bottles, but amber dark, because that way they keep most of the light out, keeping your tinctures fresh for longer. Cheesecloth, that is used to strain your um, finished tincture into your dropper bottles. Okay. Labels and a jar sealer. Labels, you're going to label what it is, the date that it was created. This way you can keep it organized and keep it rotated. And a jar sealer comes in handy. Now, I will have a little place in the course for references to where you can get all these things. So don't worry about that. I've used a lot of these. I've gone through a lot of them. So I have recommendations. And so don't worry about like, is this good? Is this not good? I will have all that for you. Okay. So the jar sealer is really great. Comes in handy when you put it on the mason jar. It'll fit over your mason jar. It'll fit over two different sizes of mason jars. It has an adapter on it, and it's just a little vacuum sealer. You can charge it. Yeah, it doesn't take batteries. It's a USB charger, and it seals it up tight. That is when you first create your tincture in the mason jar. So when you do that, you add your alcohol and your herbs, let it sit like 4 to 6 weeks in the mason jar, and then you'll strain it with the cheesecloth into the amber dropper bottles, and your tincture is boom, ready to go. So for storage, cool, dark place for infusion. All right. So you don't want a lot of light coming in, and you don't want it like super hot or super cold, unless you came up with a syrup concoction and a little bit less alcohol ratio. Then you can store it in the fridge. It doesn't hurt. So moving on, step by step process. How do you really concoct these things? So what you're going to do is you will fill your amber mason jar with a half to 2/3 full with dried herbs, okay? Or 3/4 with fresh herbs. So that is the ratio for that for a mason jar, all right? And I'm not talking a small mason jar. I'm talking a good sized mason jar, but I've got the mason jars that I use, and they work very well with this ratio. You will cover those herbs in the jar completely with the alcohol, glycerin, or vinegar, and leaving 1 inch at the top. Seal it with the vacuum sealer. Label it, what it is, the date, and shake it. Shake it daily. Okay, that way it gets more infusion going on there. And you're going to let it steep for 4 to 6 weeks and let it really infuse. And then when it's done with that period, you're going to strain it with the cheesecloth and store it in the amber bottles. And then you can label the amber bottles as well, what you got, when you got it completed, and then that way you can track everything. Alcohol shelf life. This is pretty phenomenal here. 5 years. And glycerin is going to last about 2 years, and the apple cider vinegar is going to last about 6 months. So this will give you a good ballpark of how long they will last before you need to really consume them. So that gives you plenty of time to consume these tinctures. And if you're going to be using them daily and mixing them in with things, trust me, I've never come close to them expiring on me. So syrup tinctures, like I mentioned, low alcohol ratio tinctures need to be refrigerated to prolong the shelf life. Okay, you don't necessarily have to, but it will prolong the shelf life. It can't hurt, so it's not hard just to pop it from your cabinet into your refrigerator. So safety guidelines, always research herbs first. Dosage, contraindications, make sure you don't have any allergies. Do your due diligence and figure that out first. And I would avoid this if pregnant or nursing, unless approved by a professional. Get signed off by a professional to see if you can take some of these herbal tinctures while pregnant. Of course, uh, alcohol based, I would probably steer clear of that. But again, I'm not going to tell you about your body. You do your due diligence, get with a professional, and figure that out yourself. Keep away from children unless it's a kid safe recipe. Look, I mean, if you're going to put something together with the glycerin or the vinegar and it's in small dosages for kids, I think it's perfectly acceptable. Of course, you don't want them to consume the alcohol, uh, tinctures. Of course, just look it up, consult a professional, do your due diligence. Can't stress that enough. So, again, label with the herb, the base, the date clearly. Again, keeps it organized. That way, you know the shelf life. You got everything set up in your cabinet. Common tinctures and benefits. So, these herbs I highly recommend to be put in tinctures if you're just starting out. Echinacea is great for your immunity. Valerian root is great for sleep and relaxation. Elderberry, cold and flu prevention. I mean, elderberry is a very versatile one. It makes into great cough syrups and things like that. Chamomile, calming as well for a good night's sleep, digestion, and it helps, just digest everything that you consume. Turmeric, great anti-inflammatory. I can't stress how much I love that herb. That is one of the best, especially when you combine it with other herbs like ginger, or you get lemon juice with it, honey with it. Just great combinations. But those are 5 great herbs to start off with on your apothecary journey. Moving on to dosage basics. So adults typically 1 to 2 droppers, which is like 30 to 60 drops, 2 to 3 times daily. Like I said, you can put these under your tongue, put them in your water, just stay on it. It's really about being consistent. Consistency is key. Disciplining yourself to be consistent is the key. And that is the key with everything. Discipline yourself to exercise, discipline yourself to eat right, and as long as you do that and be consistent with it, it's easier said than done, but you're going to feel a lot better taking these tinctures, and you're going to be able to defend your body against disease and sickness. Children, like I said before, use the glycerin based tinctures in much smaller doses. Always start small and adjust as needed. Now, you don't want to just dive in and go like, I need to like double this up, triple this up. Just start small with the ratios and figure it out. Just you can work your way up. But if you start big and it's just like, oh man, I got to cut back, it's better to start small and adjust up as needed. Consult herbal guides or professionals for exact dosing. Hey, tons of books. There's tons of references online. I've got a lot of suggestions here. I have a lot of references in this course, so you can have a guide and not worry about, well, what am I doing? Am I doing what's correct here? So DIY versus store bought. Now, DIY, I love DIY because you can get the herbs yourself, you can grow the herbs yourself, you can combine the herbs yourself. So you have custom blends. It's a way cheaper because you can buy them in bulk or grow them in bulk, and you can control the ingredients. Now, store bought, hey, you don't want to mess with mixing them. I know I have a lot of friends that actually make these up and put them in the bottles and sell them, and I'm like, okay, $15 for that. I'm cool. I don't really want to go and hunt all these products, and I'm not going to use a lot of these herbs. So, it's convenient, it's consistent, and you may want to go that route. Now, the brands that I recommend, Gaia Herbs, get some really good high quality herbs. Herb Farm is also good. Just compare. Do you get better benefits out of something that you buy that's already pre-made, or do you get better benefits out of doing it yourself? For me, I think it's a feeling of accomplishment when you do it yourself and you get great results. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome, man. You're saving money as well, but to each their own. Okay. So bonus resources, books. Again, I will have these listed in this course to where you can buy these. Herbal Medicine from the Heart of the Earth, Dr. Tilgner, great book. Rosemary Gladstar's Herbal Recipes for Vibrant Health, another great book. Rosemary Gladstar's got a lot of great herbal books. So apps, if you get anything on your phone, Herbarium, iHerb, Plant Snap, really good resources for apothecary. Supplies, Mountain Rose Herbs, Star West Botanicals, and Amazon. Just be careful on Amazon. Get your supplies on Amazon, but don't get your herbs and things like that on Amazon unless they really pass the test, unless they are organic, they get good reviews. I have gotten certain herbal teas and herbs and stuff off there, and I bought some duds on there too. So I will list the ones that I buy from Amazon so that I know are reputable, and that way you can avoid like going, well, is this a good one or not? So I want to thank you again for getting this apothecary course. I have all my references. I have 5 PDFs for you to dive into. I am super excited for you to get started into making these tinctures. Do it for your health, do it for your immunity. I am a big proponent of immunity and natural healing and holistic health. They are by design. Anything that is artificial, chemical based, has a lot of side effects, is not good for your body. I'm very passionate on trying to get people off of these prescription drugs. This is good versus evil here, folks. You have evil corporations trying to get you fat, sick, and addicted. It's just the truth. They are profiting from your sickness. It is a sad, sad state of affairs. We are one of the most unhealthiest countries in the world. Let that sink in. We are a global power, and yet our government and the powers that be that control our food supply and our gas and our pharmaceutical drugs, these guys are not our friends. I'm sorry if you have a different political viewpoint, but I am very passionate for you healing a certain way. I want people to wake up and understand that you are being controlled into thinking that this stuff is good for you. That's why you see all that stuff advertised on TV. They control the media as well. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. This is why you bought this course. So you want to take a path that is more natural and more holistic. I really enjoy posting and purely rooted about this stuff. I hope you get a lot of value out of this course. Again, thank you for purchasing and dive in. Have a healthy day.